Welcome, Angry Faithful, to the Friday What the Hell political podcast on Fridays, where we talk about weird
Whatever.
stuff that we stuff that made us go,
whatever.
what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah. And starting out, what we're going to talk about starting out is they got the wrong guy. And this is going after the January 6th bombing guy.
Yeah.
Let me make sure. No, wrong one. Okay. I have the Time Records news article that it's from.
Yeah, because that's a reputable website or
News
source. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I like to get a little bit of the left ideology in here every once in a while.
Well, that's 3/4 of the internet.
Yeah. Okay. No, actually, most of it's bought. So this is the person that actually was arrested for the pipe bombs. It was for the Democratic headquarters and the Republican headquarters. Put 2 pipe bombs in each of those. Now, listen to what I want you to take. Can you look at that picture? Okay. Look at the picture,
Dave
everyone.
Chappelle.
Yeah, it looks like Dave Chappelle. He's black.
That's not why I said that.
Anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, get canceled. We get canceled. Anyways, this is a CNN reporting live description of this guy.
Ryan Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device.
Let's go over that again, because I want to make sure everybody gets what this man just said.
Yeah.
Ryan Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device.
I mean, you got that, right, Johnny?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, unless, and just hear me out, unless it was a white guy and that black man right there was the explosive device that he was transporting, but what they're not reporting is that he was the explosive device, aka the bull that he was going to let his hot wife slay that night while he sat in the corner with his cut cage.
That actually makes sense.
Yeah, he was going to explode inside of his wife.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I understand.
I mean,
it makes total sense.
I mean, we're not kink shaming at all.
No, God,
At
no.
all.
Don't kink shame.
We're not kink shaming. But if CNN's going to report the facts. Report all the facts.
Yeah. And
we report, you decide. I mean,
I had to go through so many I went through so many articles just to make sure that was not a spoof. And it wasn't a spoof.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, okay, maybe it's not the guy. Got the guy's name, found the guy's name, looked it up, and I was like, okay, he's definitely black.
Yeah.
Definitely black.
Yeah.
But this is what happened. Federal agents have arrested a man they suspected to placing 2 pipe bombs near Capitol on the eve of January 6th, 2021. A break in the mystery that fueled the conspiracy theories for years. The theories for years. We'll just say theories. Brandon Cole Jr., 30, was taken into custody at his home. He shared with his parents. Oh, no surprise. God. The authorities have yet to disclose a motive for planting the bomb outside the Republican and Democratic national headquarters on the eve of the constitutional certificate of Joseph R. Biden Jr.'s victory over 2020 presidential election. Mr. Mr. Cole told investigators he sympathized to Mr. Trump's claim that the election was stolen from him, according to a personal familiar with the matter.
See, that's where the story falls apart. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. They this is their smoking gun, so to speak. Not only did they nab themselves a bomber, but they nabbed themselves a minority right-wing bomber. The odds of that happening are pretty slim, pretty low. I'm not saying that they're not out there, because they are. You know, most of them reside in Michigan and participate in the militia up there. But
Well, it was the whole
it
fact.
just seems a little too convenient. And it's like, hey, look over here. We've got this story going on. And what are they distracting us from? You know,
Well, here's the thing on it. Okay. 5 years. 5 years it took them to find this, you know, and I'm reading this article and everything, and I'm like, agents use cell phone data to track these suspects. I mean, you could have done that 4 years ago. I mean, our technology hasn't improved, has it? I mean, it has
not
a
that
little,
much.
but not
Yeah.
that much.
I
They
mean,
could have done it.
they were talking about cell phone signal triangulation, like what, 10 years ago, pinging towers and things like that. Come on.
No, they've been doing. I mean, how long-
Publicly, they've been talking about doing that for like the last 10 years. So, no, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Like I said, what are they what are they trying to distract us from? You know? I mean, maybe it's the story that you shared with me before we came on the air. That's what they're trying to distract us from.
Okay.
See, that's what we call a segue.
Yeah. It's actually 14 years. It's kind of been 14.
Yeah, see, even more.
Because-
Even more than.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know how
come on.
you know how I figured that out? Person of interest. It was probably more than that, but the persons of interest TV show,
Yeah.
they were talking about it in that show.
Well, they also talk about it in every iteration of Law and Order. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
I don't even go down that rabbit hole how long that was. But another topic that's happening right now
mhm.
is Somalians.
Yeah. I didn't catch the name. I know that it was a representative. I forget what state they're from. Don't really care. I know that they're Democrat, but they're trying to say things like Africans, Muslims, and Somalians built this country into what it is today. I was unaware that we had any of those groups fighting in the Revolutionary War, let alone signing the Constitution. I wasn't aware of that.
No.
I mean, I could be just a victim of whitewashed history, but
No, what they're trying to say is that people from Africa built this country, which in all reality, we can also say the Chinese did too, because they helped build the railroad.
yeah, I was
I mean-
going to say no. The Chinese built the railroads
Oh,
along with the Irish.
yeah. Do we want to pull up the dictator, that one part?
No, we
Okay.
don't, because we don't want to get smacked with a copyright. No.
Not even copyright. What was he said? He's like built by the blacks and
Just go watch The Dictator.
Yeah,
and
go watch
suffer
The
through it like the rest of us have. I mean, but to a point, the satire is always rooted in some kind of fact.
yeah.
So, there you go. But I did notice something. The Democrats are trying to impeach the Secretary of War for murder.
No, war crimes.
Well, yeah, well, they want to try him for war crimes, but here's the thing: there has to be an official declaration of war
Yeah.
in order for there to be war crimes. At least that's my understanding. I could be wrong. I've
You-
been known to be wrong once or twice before in my life. I'm probably going to be wrong once or twice before I die.
Well, you were at least wrong twice. That's why
Yeah.
you're on your marriage. I mean,
Eh, no.
that's
Okay, so with the second one, I don't look at that as being a mistake. I think the mistake was not getting out soon enough.
yeah. It's still a mistake.
That mistake got me my boys, so
Yeah.
I can't
Get to
chalk that up. Yeah, I can't get caught up in the minutia of your semantics there, David.
Yep. Now, here's the thing on that. And not on your marriages, but here's the thing on the Department of War getting war crimes. One, you're right, there has to be a war. And another thing they're saying is they're attacking Venezuelan ships.
Well, no
Technically,
shit.
no, technically.
Well, I mean, technically, they're attacking narco boats, but
And
what's funny is the fact that as these senators and representatives were going on their platforms, their media platforms, and spouting this latest talking point,
because they're trying to get rehired.
they were conducting strikes at that very moment.
Yeah.
So,
You're doing war crimes. Stop. What? I didn't
see,
hear
the
you.
whole thing came about is that they were like, they realized that a survivor had gotten tossed from the boat when it exploded, so they circled back and did a strafing run or something to that effect. And I'm like, I mean, he wasn't too terribly far out from shore, so I mean, send a message, right? What's the old adage, right? It's as long as there's air in his lungs, the messenger still carries the message, right?
Well, yeah. But what
So
did you get the air out of his lungs? I mean, he's still giving a message.
yeah, but you're the one dictating that message. He's not carrying anything with him at that point.
But another thing, the reason why they keep on bringing this stuff up is because they keep on saying Venezuelan ships are being attacked. How do you identify a Venezuelan ship?
Well, I mean, technically, now, having grown up a Navy brat, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
If you call anything that is larger than a certain size a boat, there's a certain demographic that gets rather pissy, right?
Okay. Okay. Granted.
So, I would think that there needs to be a certain displacement, uh, certain metric tonnage that it needs to be weighed in at, a certain amount of number, certain amount of personnel. Just like, you get these Coast Guard cutters. Those aren't ships, those are boats, right?
Okay.
Um,
How do you identify those as a U.S. Coast Guard boat or ship?
well, I mean, they've got uniform markings. Now, to my knowledge, these speedboats are unmarked. They
Really?
may carry a registration from the country of Venezuela, but that does not make them Venezuelan ships
Or boats?
or
Because
boats.
you have to have one thing on there to verify it as an act of war, and that is if they had a Venezuelan flag.
Yep.
So, Johnny, tell me, is this an act of war? Because I didn't see any. Well, you can't see that much flags with the explosion, but it could have been there.
I don't think that there would have been, because here's the thing. You have to understand the amount of drag that a flag produces in a high wind.
Mm-hmm.
Flags necessarily are not the most aerodynamic of things. they're not necessarily the most hydrodynamic of things. So I would think that, speedboat runs, narco runners are trying to keep as low profile as possible.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that they're flying a flag from some kind of yard arm or mast. Oh, no. These are speedboats. So, I'm just kind of like, fuck them.
Yeah.
We're just being honest. I mean, fuck them.
Well,
So,
here's another thing on that. They keep on saying it's like, well, they were unarmed. Where's the weapons?
at the bottom of the sea.
Well, no, before they strike on the vehicle. We'll call it vehicles.
I'm looking at my niece. Give her here.
Oh.
Give her here. Let me cover up your chi-chis. There you go.
Oh. She's part of the show now.
You're forever. I love you. Okay. So you okay. I find it very hard to believe. I mean, and if we're speaking odds wise, the odds are very low that if you try to intercept said boat with the intention of boarding it and seizing its cargo, that you're not going to get met with some kind of fire, right? Some kind of force.
But there was plenty of weapons to take out a lot of American people on the boat.
Yeah. So
The drugs.
yeah. So I mean, you know how the left likes to throw around the term assault, right? Like it's an assault weapon, it's an assault rifle, right?
Yeah, like someone was trying to educate people today. The fully semi-automatic AR.
Yes, the fully semi-automatic.
And then she was educating everybody and everything. I was like, well, there's a general that would have a problem with that. And she's like, do tell. And I sent her that video where he was like, we're going to switch this to fully semi-auto. I'm going to shoot this fully semi-auto. I'm like, you were,
my favorite, and I'll get back to my point in a second, but my favorite Democrat gun, I'm going to call it what can I call it? Left-splaining. That's what I'm going to call it. My favorite left-splaining video about guns is that's California senator talking about ghost guns.
oh God, yes.
That was my favorite. I'm like sitting there going, that law enforcement official that is standing in the back, how is he just like, I'm just here so I don't get fined? Like, how is he keeping that straight face?
No, it's one of those that and if you look at his face, he's literally what?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, but back to my point. All right. So, you know how they're throwing around the term assault, right? They like to think that everything is a weapon of war, right? Well, if we're still waging a war on drugs, right? The drugs can be weaponized. Narcotics can be weaponized.
Because you can put an excess more of fentanyl, or
I mean, it takes 1 granule of fentanyl.
yeah.
When they administer fentanyl in the operating room, they have to do it in micro doses. I mean,
so scary.
Micro doses.
Yeah.
Right.
So I knew a guy that had to use a patch, and he didn't want to take the full amount, and so he halved it, and the doctor almost lost his shit because he broke up the time capsule, the time delay, and he could have killed him.
Crackheads, drug addicts in general will out hustle a majority of society these days. You know those fentanyl patches, those pain patches. You can actually chew the gel on those patches. Stick the gel in your mouth and chew it, and you'll absorb the fentanyl through your gums
Mhm.
subcutaneously. And I'm like, wow, okay.
There's
And the only reason I know that is because, um, well, not personal experience, but I'm very close with somebody who lost somebody that way.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a weapon, right?
Mhm.
That the drug is the weapon. So you were on the right track there. The drug is the weapon. The drugs are being weaponized as soon as they hit the streets,
Mhm.
right? I mean, a single boatload of whatever it is that they're hauling is probably worth at least a couple of $1 million on the street, right? So
You'd be okay. Nowadays, probably a bit more expensive, but during the Joe Biden administration, you could get fentanyl pills for like 25 cents.
I understand, but
But yeah,
what they're bringing over is raw product and it's being processed here. It's being turned into pills here because they're cutting it with something else,
yeah,
right? Because they're trying to dilute the product. So I mean, it's like a really poorly written episode of Breaking Bad, but yeah, it's they make it there, they bring it here, it's cut, it's processed, it's redistributed, its value goes up. That's like if you take a bar of gold, right?
yeah.
Bar of gold in itself is worth whatever gold is going for on the market, right?
Okay.
But you can quadruple or even quintuple your return on that gold if you melt it down and turn it into things like jewelry, uh, uh, gold coating for electronic, devices, things like that, and to where gold in itself is considered the raw material. And then when you convert it into other things that are desirable, that there's a market for, then your value, then your return on that investment comes back many times over. So that's what they're doing is they're creating the raw product. They're not refining it. They're producing the raw product there, right?
Yeah.
They're packaging it up. They're shipping it over here one way or another. It gets here. It goes to a distributor. The distributor, or even the cartel that brings it over, they've got people that will reduce it, dilute it, cut it. Even in the height of the cocaine days back in the 80s and 90s, cocaine was not cocaine. It was not pure cocaine that was being sent out there. People were cutting it with all kinds of stuff, whether it be baking powder, flour, whatever, powdered sugar, what have you. It was being cut and it was being divided because why? You could sell. You could. I mean, it was hard to break it unless you were a very discerning cocaine user, right, or an aficionado, or you had a palate for that. People didn't care. You sell them a couple of bumps or whatever. You sell them a gram, and then they're cutting it up, and it's going right up their nose. They're not going to be able to tell the difference, right? Because they're still getting that same high, and they don't know any better because they've been buying the same diluted cut product for years, right, or however long it is, but they've been on that kick.
Mm-hmm.
The products that they're being sent over on these boats are being there as soon as they get to our shore, it's being weaponized because you're not gonna send a finished product over, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
because at that point it becomes a logistics problem, right? If you multiply the volume upon which you're trying to ship, you're gonna have to spend more, which makes it more expensive. And if you make it more expensive, people aren't gonna want to buy it, right? They're gonna find someplace else to get it that doesn't involve you, and they're gonna cut you out.
Yeah.
So you ship your raw materials, it's cut, refined, and it's produced here, or it's redistributed here
Yeah.
and sold many times over, more multiplied in volume. It's just a simple economics, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Reynolds
They have it.
Reynolds does not they don't mine and refine and produce the aluminum that they buy. They buy rolls of it that are already they're compressed down and rolled out to a certain thickness, and then once they get those rolls, they've got a refining process that takes it down to another thickness based on whatever customer's orders are.
Yeah.
And they package it that way. So they can sit there and spend $10,000 on a roll of aluminum. They can hammer it out, or they can roll it out, and they can package it and sell it for $100,000 to $200,000. So they're getting almost a, what is it? What's the math on that? 1,000% return on that investment. So they're still making money.
Yeah, because you're trying to supply the demand, but you're
stretching out the material, you're stretching out the resource is what you're doing. So you're dividing it up and you're thinning it out. So the same principle applies, I would think, to the drug trade. The raw materials are received here, they're refined, they're produced in whatever forms, whether it be powder, whether it be liquid, whether it be, and it's some kind of ingestible, and then it's sold that way for a little bit of a markup, because they still do have to cover their costs once they get it here, but they're still making money hand over fist. And as long as the supplier keeps bringing in that raw product, they can continue to pump out whatever they want in the quantities and the potency that they want, depending on what their overhead is projected to be. So I have no problem at all with using military assets to sink this stuff, just to put it in the bottom of the Gulf. I don't really care. I think that it's a good thing.
My only thing with this, though, is an article I read a couple of years back, and it's a fascinating read.
Mm-hmm.
Sharks got addicted to cocaine.
Chalk it up as collateral damage. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Okay. I'm
because
joking.
I understand that you're joking. But with the
thing is-
weaponry that we're employing, it's not like we're sitting there and engaging these guys with like 5-inch 5-inch deck guns. No.
Oh yeah.
They're being engaged with Hellfire missiles. 9 times out of 10 that are fired from drones. Okay. So, or at least laser guided munitions that are designed to airburst or detonate on impact. So they're running a blockade, but they're running a 21st century style blockade. It's not like we've got a flotilla sitting out there with destroyers and frigates and battleships all swarmed around an aircraft carrier. The aircraft carrier is running the show. Don't get me wrong. There is a battle group out there, but the standoff is ridiculous, right? These drug runners know that we're up there, but they can't see us. You want to talk about a high-paying mule job right there? Oh,
if you can get past and everything.
If you can make it to the shore, dude. I wonder if it's like the bombing runs of World War II. If you get to 25 missions, you can retire. But
it's just one mission. You're like, okay, we're gonna 25 million if you can make it to Miami.
Right. Like, we'll pay you to disappear. But I got no problem with it. I really don't. And had we taken a harder stance on things sooner,
yeah, we.
And I'm not saying that we need to go invade Venezuela. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not advocating for that. But
it happened anyways.
Well, we'll see. But I really think that had we taken this part of his
Like
stance.
a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. I mean, even as early as 20 years ago.
80s. If we took that kind of thing in the 80s,
Here's my thing though. All right. We know that the cartels, at least at some point, owned submersibles, right?
Yeah.
They've been interceded, they've been sunk, they've been scuttled. Some of them have been confiscated, blah blah blah, right?
yeah,
You get that whole escalation of violence, right? And it's like the thing with radar detectors versus the highway patrol, right? They come out with a new one, and then the radar detector market's got to catch up, and then it's just a never ending battle, right? Bring
Yeah.
a knife, I bring a bat. You bring a bat, I bring a gun. The technology that we are using to intercept these boats with extreme prejudice is going to take a while for the cartels to catch up with. Because, I mean, I'm sure that they've got access to some of these like Stinger missiles or whatever Eastern Bloc versions of them would be, but if you really want to escalate things and make things 100 times worse, more complicated and worse for yourself than they already are, go ahead and fire a surface to air missile at one of our either drones or manned aircraft, or God, fire at one of our ships.
yeah.
Right? Not only will you cease to be, but that would be the provocation that would be needed for Venezuela to experience freedom, right? So I would like to see us avoid a a protracted ground war in Venezuela. Ronald Reagan was a firm believer in peace through strength. He believed that our military should have been all the deterrent that the rest of the world needed, right?
Uh-huh.
This is the fact that we're out there picking these boats off the way that we are now. Hey, we can do that all day long. I mean, eventually they're going to run out of boats.
Or they're not going to be able to find any people to actually do that suicide.
Yeah, you either run out of boats or you run out of people to drive them.
Yeah.
So, but I really don't think that the cartels, for as much as they want to bolster and all of the the bravado, false as it may be, that they carry, I don't think that they want to go toe to toe with the United States military, because while we've got our conventional units and we can beat them with sheer numbers, our special operations community alone would wreak absolute havoc on their operations. And I'm not saying that to be like, again, SEAL Team 6 shit or whatever. I mean, we wouldn't even send Delta operators out there. I mean, it would just be, some special forces teams, maybe some Marine Raiders, I mean, it's guys to get on the ground and work with the indigenous people to, help them fight their own battles, kind of a situation. Because Venezuela, last time I checked, is still one of the bigger socialist nations in Latin America.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people in that country that don't want socialism anymore because they can't afford to buy what is on the shelves at whatever markets that they shop at, because all of the fat cats involved with the bureaucracy there keep it all for themselves. So, and not to mention the fact that the drug cartels, that they're not sharing, they're not playing Robin Hood. They're stealing from Americans to feed their own pockets. They don't care about anybody. They'll shoot you in the back of the head if you're not working hard enough for them, and they'll find one of your relatives to take your place. I mean, you're a number to them. So I really don't think that the government of Venezuela or the cartels in Venezuela want to get into any kind of protracted war with the United States military. I really don't. They're either going to run out of people to drive these boats, or they're going to run out of boats. And if neither one of those happen, and they start shooting at us, either returning fire or I don't want to say proactively, but I guess for lack of a better term, proactively firing upon us, it's not going to end well for them at all.
No.
So I don't know. And I mean, you can get into the black helicopter arguments about how the CIA has been funding the drug trade, blah, blah, blah. Look, you can't make an omelet unless you break a few eggs, kind of a situation. So, I mean, I can understand to a point how they've been working with some of the smaller cartels to get to the bigger cartels, but don't think for a second that if these people physically started and openly started shooting at our military, it wouldn't. I mean, it would probably last maybe I don't know, maybe a year, 2 tops. We wouldn't even have to put full strength on the ground like we did in Afghanistan or Iraq, because neither one of those countries, I mean, both of those countries are larger than Venezuela.
I think I think it's a little bit different with the southern countries, the South American countries, only because I mean, we did it twice and we didn't know much. We were already, I think it might have been because we were already geared for jungle warfare. Or we took
Panama, and then I think, what was it, Nicaragua?
Yeah.
I can never say that name correctly, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, and what's going to be interesting is if the president makes good on his promise to retake control of the Panama Canal.
Mhm.
Um,
I think BlackRock bought it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It to me, there needs to be some kind of like revenue share with the country of Panama that the United States government could reestablish. Not necessarily make it a militarized zone, but definitely don't let the corporations take it over, right? But definitely like United States oversight or US oversight with Panamanian assistance, that kind of a thing. I mean, it is their soil, but we were the ones that went down there and dug it all out. And we were operating it for years until the bad contract that was written up with the Panamanian government kicked in. And we had to we had to relinquish control to them. But I don't know. It would be interesting to see, because with a U.S. presence back in the Panamanian Canal area, we would have to reopen those military bases, specifically Fort Sherman, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was the name of the Army base down there. But, yeah, we would have a constant presence, at least in the region, a land-based presence, and we'd be able to run.
It was
rotary aircraft flight. We would establish dominance over that airspace.
Yeah, you're right on Fort Sherman, but there's also Fort Amador and Fort.
That's right. But yeah, I don't have a problem with what Secretary Hegseth is doing at all.
More or less the president. He's just following orders of the president.
Yeah. So the president gave him basically kind of a blank slate. He's like, look, do what you need to do. Right? Run by me what your plan is. I'll approve it up to a certain point. I mean, the president doesn't need congressional approval to run military operations as long as he is under, I think, 10,000 troops for less than 30 or more than 30 days.
Okay.
Something to that effect. I mean, because once he gets over a certain threshold number, once he gets over a certain number of pair of boots, right, in a certain time frame, I believe that time frame is 30 days. So he's up to 10,000 troops for up to 30 days before he requires congressional approval to keep the military in that region.
No,
We're
it's 45 days.
is it
And the only
okay? Is
reason
it
why I know that
45?
I was deployed with a couple of things
Yeah.
that we had to do. It's 45 days for Army, Navy, and Air Force. Marines is a totally different story because he can deploy Marines anytime he wants for however long he wants because he has congressional from Thomas Jefferson's era
Yeah.
that the Marine Corps is under his direct thumb.
Yeah. So, I mean, he can deploy the Marines, but yeah, as far as the other three branches are going to be concerned, and we're not talking about Space Force. I mean, come on, let's be real.
They're more or less like the cyber force.
Right.
And
Coast Guard's part of Homeland Security now. So, but anyways, so contrary to what a lot of Marines will tell you, yes, you do need an official declaration of war for the Army to hit the ground, right? At least to start engaging in firefight, and start engaging in combat operations, there needs to be a declaration in place. But anyway, we can establish from sovereign U.S. soil via those military outposts a U.S. military presence in the region, and they can actively be out there doing live fire exercises, doing what they need to do to secure the area. But
that's why a lot of like international groups are like saying this is an act of war or this is inhumane. I'm like, one, it's an international waters. There's not really any kind of like big time contract with international waters. Treaties, nothing like that. I mean, there's certain treaties for like Antarctica and other places, but in all reality, when it's international waters, there's a lot of shady shit you can do.
Yeah, I mean, if Trump is being half as crafty as he's trying to, as he has been in the past, he just needs to start quoting the Monroe Doctrine.
Yeah,
the Monroe Doctrine. It goes all the way back to the Cold War, right? Where the United States government's policy on communism and communist governments being set up and operated within the Western Hemisphere was a zero tolerance.
Yeah.
So if the Venezuelan government wants to step in on behalf of the drug cartels and start using government assets to help transport these drugs to the American mainland, that's a communist government. That's a socialist government. So it's you can break down the minutia. Government, socialism is not communism. Well, horseshit.
It develops into this
It
communism.
develops. One develops from the other. It's all based on Marxism. So just pump the brakes there.
Yeah.
But, I really, it just, we've got the means, both with the checks and balances, with previous policies that have already established precedent, presidential authority, and operating within those constraints without needing the approval of Congress. I mean, it's not like it's not like the secretary is authorizing nuclear ordnance being dropped on the Venezuelan canopy.
Yeah.
It's not like we're sitting there spraying defoliant, trying to, break down the rainforest or whatever it is that they've got down there. That's not happening. We're allowing these drug shipments to leave their shore, get into international water where they are being engaged and destroyed. So
here's my thought on this whole thing. The reason why like congressmen and senators are and bats and going crazy because they believe they have power.
Yeah, well,
power.
It's easy it's easy to expel the hot air contained in your rib cage when you think that when you have the the illusion of the moral superiority.
Yeah. And it's just ridiculous to the point where they think they have so much and they're so high up on being, oh, my voters voted for me, so I'm important. Dude,
Your constituents, they voted you in based on your campaign promises.
yeah.
Now, your campaign promises were not to disrupt the government's operation. Your campaign promises were not to collect a check. And your campaign promises were not to sit there and steal oxygen. I want to talk to the squad, as it were, and tell them to go outside and apologize to every fucking tree for stealing the oxygen that those plants worked so hard to produce.
Well, part of that,
I mean, honestly, as far as I'm concerned, AOC is one really bad day away from setting up an OF page. I mean, really. Now,
you're not
he
wrong.
would probably make enough to retire comfortably after about 6 months. And she wouldn't have to do anything except pose. She wouldn't even have to talk. I mean, the public perception of her IQ might actually increase if she were to do that. But
half of that crew. Here's something right now that's going on with half of that crew, and we'll use it as a segue to talk about our next subject, Somalians.
Well, now investigators are tracking the web of fraud to other Minnesota Democrats, such as Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Many of the suspects linked to the scheme live in her district, including a restaurant owner who hosted events for her. He has since been convicted of stealing $12 million in COVID funds. Well, now investigators are tracking the web of fraud.
damn, 12 million.
Yeah, dude, it is that whole thing with the Somalians after it broke. It was ridiculous. Here, I'm not even going to do this whole video. He's just being a whistleblower, and I'm just going to report on what he actually said. It is whistleblower sounds the horn. Major food products plants in Minnesota. So I'm gonna let Johnny talk after this one. I'm gonna find out the Minnesotan food products that you need to be looking for.
The
Because-
Minnesotan, yeah. Sorry.
Have brought in Somalians who defecate and urinate everywhere. The food is being distributed all over the United States and Canada.
So it's being processed in less than sanitary conditions. Okay. Yeah. So
I got the list.
Yeah.
I got the list. It is Home Foods, Austin plant, Austin, Minnesota. Quality Pork Processors, QPP. JBS Pork Processing Plant. Jenny O Turkey Store Plant. I don't know what that one. Swanson Company Frozen Food Plant. Fair Blunt. I'm gonna literally just do it this way. I'll go over them at the same time. And I will make it to where you can see it, hopefully a little bit better. I'm just gonna do is
oh yeah, okay, I can see it.
Okay.
Let me see
well,
here.
no, that's not what I was gonna get at. What I'm gonna do here,
See,
people.
Okay,
is-
here's what's concerning,
these,
right? For me, you look down the list, Cargill, that's a big name here in Texas.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Land O'Lakes, Dairy Food okay. Yeah. General Mills.
Mhm.
I mean, dude, Pilgrim's Pride. Keep scrolling. Pepsi.
Raised-
Coca-Cola. Yeah, there's a Coca-Cola. I mean, okay, so here's the thing. All right.
I'm gonna leave this up for everybody. What you can do is you can take a snapshot of this, and you can find out all the stuff.
Yeah. So
Here for a second, and there you go. We're gonna go ahead and close it out, people.
okay, so I was like, wait a minute, where did we go? But
That's scary, dude.
it is. It is. So I know that they have a lot of regional plants, processing plants. I know that Cargill, I mean, they're a big family here in Texas. Um, and they process a lot of their pork here also. Uh, and I know that those processing plants are heavily regulated. They're constantly being inspected. Uh, and this is not necessarily a hot take, and it's one that's building momentum. And it might be, a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for here? Too controversial for our level of a show, but fuck them, deport every single one of them.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. I mean, and we had started to talk about it a little bit before the show started, especially with that video that you showed me with Afghani students, military age men, taking photographs of our infrastructure, bridges, roads, piers, ports, things like that. Why do you need pictures of that? What kind of scouting mission are you out doing? The immigration policies of the Biden administration were, I don't want to say lax, because lax would mean that there was some kind of standard there. They were non-existent. Okay. And you can scream all day long about, well, I'm just a MAGA this or whatever. I don't care. You're entitled to your opinion.
I'm more
David
of
David and I and hundreds of thousands of other young men and women serve this country, so you can have that opinion, even though it's wrong. Okay.
yeah. My
It-
thing is, though, on this is I'm looking out for everybody.
Yeah. And it's not
Something,
necessarily,
something.
it's not necessarily my peace of mind. It's not necessarily your peace of mind. It's part of the larger picture, right?
Yeah.
National security, national sovereignty, the ability for us to be able to walk down the street and not have to worry. It's our ability to be able to park our car. Yes, we're still going to lock our vehicles. Yes, I'm still going to lock my house. I used to, I used to have my garage. I used to leave it open all day, right? I was home, left it open, right? No, not a big deal. About 2 or 3 weeks, about 3 weeks ago, a high school student skipped school. And one of the assistant principals for the high school over here lives a few doors down from the house.
Mhm.
About 2:18 in the afternoon on a Tuesday or Thursday, or it was a Tuesday. I forget what the actual date was. Shot at the house that the assistant principal was living in. He wasn't home at the time, but I don't think that the student realized that. So I mean, we had big, huge police presence in the neighborhood, which, I mean, we're a quiet neighborhood. I mean, with the exception of a few Karens that live around the area complaining about dogs barking, but fuck them,
Yeah.
right? So, I had to provide, it's a good thing that we've got security cameras on my house, because I was able not to get footage of the shooter, but you heard the audio from the gunshot,
Mhm.
right? And I thought I had heard something, right? Because I was like, you hear that pop, right? You hear the pop, it means it's being aimed, at least in your general direction, where if you hear the bang, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So I thought I heard pop, 3 pops. And I was like, the hell is that? So, I mean, I went outside and, there's all these cops out there. And I was like, what the fuck? So the detective walks down, he's talking to me, and he's like, did you hear anything? I was like, well, I mean, I thought I did. And, I mean, I'm carrying, right? I carry at home. And he's like, he goes, have you seen anybody strange in the neighborhood? I was like, no, I've been working out in the backyard all day. And so he leaves, and then this patrol officer comes up, and I was like, what time exactly is it that this was supposed to have taken place? And he was like, around 2:18. I was like, okay. So I pulled up my security footage and I looked at the timestamp. So I backed it up like a minute beforehand and let it play. And I turned the volume all the way up on my phone, and we sit there and heard it pop, 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 right? And he was like, can you download that? I was like, yeah, let me download a 90-second clip for you. And I airdropped it to his phone. The cop was amazed because he's like, "Yeah, the department hasn't showed us how to work our iPhones. I don't know nothing about airdrop." And I was like, "Yeah, look here." Boom, touched his phone. Boom, did the whole thing. And so they come back over and they get my license number and everything like that, and they're taking my statement. I was like, "Okay," and then they, they caught the kid, and the police actually camped out. They left. They had an officer. They had officers on rotation sitting outside, out front of the principal's house or assistant principal's house for like 3 days.
Really?
Yeah, and nobody ever really got the full story. We just know that it was a student and that it's an assistant principal that lives down the street from me. But I was like, you know what? We're going to start closing up the garage. I mean, which it's fine. It's less, one less avenue of approach. You get into the garage. It's, we never lock that inner door unless it's, we're leaving for the, we're going to bed. Right.
Yeah.
So, cause it's a fire rated door. So if you can kick it in, but it's going to take you a minute.
Yeah.
But, getting back to, the deport all of them, it's not a race thing, people. So immigration is not about race. It's not about nationality, because we've brought this up a number of times in the past over all of our shows. America has been, continues to be, and will continue to be a melting pot, right? That's what makes us unique as a country. What makes us unique as a society is the molding or the melting and the combining of all of the best ingredients from the cultures around the world, right? People that come here legally, they establish themselves and they bring the best parts of their home countries with them. They don't try to institute, at least it used to be this way. They didn't try to institute every policy that they ran away from and turn this place into the third world shithole that they ran from, right?
Yeah.
If you were not vetted, if you did not come here legally, if you do not have a legal visa issued by the United States Customs Office, right? You need to leave on your own, and you have a chance. I mean, that app, right? That the Homeland Security Secretary, she had this all set up, right? She says if you download the app and you self-register and you self-deport, you get put on a green list, and you will be given the opportunity to re-enter the United States legally at another time. But if you are deported forcibly, you will not be granted access back into this country legally or otherwise.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are actually doing that.
Yeah, and there are, so I mean, hey, great.
In the millions.
If they're self-deporting, fine, great. Kudos for doing the right thing finally, right? Better late than never.
Yeah.
But this is about the security of the American people. And every politician that has been elected to office, from the presidency all the way down to the lowest ranking member of the House, your first duty is to uphold is to uphold the laws and the Constitution of this land. And by trying to, actively come in here, or actively go to Washington with the intent of circumventing the firewall that is the Constitution and institutionalizing your corruption, you're violating that oath. And people like Omar, the senator from Minnesota, the one that married her brother, fucking get rid of her too.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're in the toxic.
Okay, so the Somalian that ran for mayor of Minneapolis and lost, he got deported because they found out that he was a non-citizen. He
Really?
was there. He was here illegally.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So You know, can you imagine had he won? It's like, oh well, hey, now we got to have a special election, and they got
Yeah.
to do that shit all over
I
again.
don't know if they're this is going to be this is his last name, but Major Jacob Fry.
Mhm.
This is what he thinks, and he's a Vietnamese immigrant that came over the right way, joined the military.
Since when the fuck did we have to bow down to certain communities? Look, I'm Asian. I'm Vietnamese. Okay, when we have our own communities too, and our communities thriving. You know, we have businesses. We've been here only what, less than 50 years since after the 1975. Our communities are thriving throughout the United States. If you look at our numbers, there's only about 2 million of us here in the United States. And out of that 2 million people that we have, majority of us have businesses, scientists, engineers, doctors, bright mind people that given back to this country more than we taken. And we have never asked anybody to bow down or speak our language. Okay? Since when the fuck this stupid ass mayor of the little pirate motherfucking land pirates Molian have to speak their language?
You said he joined the army?
Motherfucking
No,
crook ass
I
pirates.
think
Since when we have to do that?
so.
This is just a fucking crook, and he's a Jewish dude. What a shame, you know? What a shame. What
See,
the
he
fuck?
speaks like a military man. I fucking
Yeah.
dig that, right? And you know, okay, so and I served with the guys that were foreign nationals, right? In our military. And they earned their citizenship through service, which
Yeah.
is a way to do it.
Yeah. I
Um,
served, I was in
I'm
Bahrain.
all for that.
Yeah, I was in Bahrain, and one of the guys that was with me, he was, I think it was Nellis Air Force Base. But we were talking to the head chief master sergeant of the base,
Mhm.
and he was talking. He was like, "Hey, how long does it take for me to get my citizenship? I'm from Mexico City." And he's like, "Well, where did you sign up at?" He's like, "I made it all the way up to Chicago." That was the joke on that. But he was talking, and he was like, "Unfortunately, you have to go through the same avenue as every other citizen."
Mhm.
I mean, you don't get a bump up or anything like that. It takes a while, but as soon as you get your citizen, there's benefit to being a citizen.
They're allowed to take their citizenship test without having to go through as much of the bureaucratic red tape as everybody else does.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, it's almost like they get a fast pass to their test, but they still have to put in the work. They've got to, they've got to finish their enlistment, their initial enlistment, right? Like I had a guy, he was a British national. He was from the Cayman Islands, so he was a subject of the Queen at the time.
Yeah.
He obtained dual citizenship because of his service in the army. Plenty of Hispanic guys, straight from the old country, straight from Mexico, that were serving as infantrymen in the army. They would, they go to reenlist, and they would take their citizenship test. They would be naturalized before their reenlistment ceremony. So and they were doing things the right way. They came over with a visa, right? On a visa, like a student visa or whatever. And they run out of college money, so they join the military, kind of a thing, to get the GI Bill, whatever. But I don't have a problem with people of other cultures and people of other countries coming here, as long as they do it legally. And if you're going to stay, you have to obtain citizenship. If you want to have all of the rights that natural born Americans have and other naturalized Americans have, i.e., the ability to own firearms in this country, the ability to vote, you have to go through the legal channels. It's not a race issue. The biggest straw man misdirect argument besides sexism is racism. People play the race card way too much. The problem with playing something too often is that it starts to become a worn out excuse. I mean, it's not an argument anymore. It's an excuse. It's an excuse. It's a misdirection. You get people all fired up about this false flag that you can continue to do the things that you know that you're not supposed to be doing because they're all you're rage baiting people, right? So I don't have a problem with people following the letter of the law. Follow the laws that are laid out in this country to become a naturalized citizen.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not race. It is about legality. It's about, and it's not even, and they want to argue that it's not moral to break up families. Well, look, don't come over here with your kids expecting your kids to be able to stay. Okay. Don't come over here with this quote unquote anchor baby mentality because that's not a thing. All right. The 14th Amendment was so misconstrued, so misinterpreted, just like the whole separation between church and state thing. It doesn't exist the way that they argue it. So you do things the right way. All right. You want to provide a better life for your kids, provide a better life for yourself, your family, what have you. Be the example, do things the right way, show them how it is supposed to be done. And then once you've established yourself as an American citizen, you're paying taxes, you're contributing back to the American society as a whole. You've woven yourself into the fabric of our nation. You're a part of this story. Then you can bring your family, get them citizenship, and teach them what makes this country great. And it's not about left versus right. I don't care if you vote Democrat. I really don't. As long as you're a law-abiding citizen and you're contributing, I cannot talk tonight. As long as you're a productive member of society, do what you need to do. You're not evading taxes. You're not a drain on the system. You're employed, right? I'm not saying, buy land and pay taxes and because taxation is theft, right? But be productive. Contribute more to society than you're taking. Just like that just like the gentleman said in the video. Give back more than you take.
Yeah.
As long as you can continue to do that and you do that tirelessly, I have no problem at all with the cultural enrichment of America. I don't. It makes us a better country. I mean, there's a reason why when the immigration boom happened coming over from the European continent, through Ellis Island, things like that, the ports along the eastern seaboard, there's a reason why people came to this country. It's because it was the land of opportunity. They did it the right way.
Mhm.
They established themselves and they contributed back to the society that accepted them with open arms. And they made our country better, right? Give me you're weak, you're sick, you're tired, you're poor. I mean, the streets may not be paved with gold. It may not be all milk and honey out there. You're going to have to, I mean, we're entitled to pursue happiness, but we are not entitled to that happiness. We are entitled to fail also. But what makes our country unique over the course of human history is our ability as a society, as a country, to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, our ability to excel, our ability to innovate through diversity and tragedy. Okay. You look at the advances that the modern world has, 99% of them came from somebody in this country innovating and inventing something out of necessity, out of pure tenacity, out of opportunistic drive. So I don't see where race has anything to do with it. If you want to come here, pure, plain and simple, do it the right way, do it legally, but don't expect us to give you handouts and then live on the public teat and then fly under the radar until you're dead and buried on American soil. Don't be that. Don't leave your third world shithole country and come here to the greatest country on the face of this planet and expect to change us into what you left, because that makes absolutely no sense at all. If you are that homesick, then go the fuck home. Go the fuck home. Maintain dual citizenship at that point. That way you can come and go as you please. But as long as you're under this flag, you're under are living on this soil, you are required to live by the law of the land, just like you are when you go back home. Mexico or any of these other countries that people are fleeing from, if they catch you as an undocumented illegal foreigner, you go to fucking jail. You don't want to spend time in a Mexican prison because you will get lost in the system and you will never see the light of day again.
Oh, you can bribe yourself out.
Well, yeah, you could probably buy yourself out, but as long as you follow what this is going to be my nerd showing, but like, the Ferengi rules of acquisition. So, but just do things the right way. Do it legally.
Yeah.
That's all we ask. It's not that big of an ask. I mean, if anything, it could almost be construed as common sense. I mean, I know that it wasn't issued, but for fuck's sake, we need to start using it anyway. It's just unfortunate that we elect people and put them into office and they sit there and entrench themselves in those, in those offices up there. 3/4 of them don't have the God-given common sense that he gave a block of wet concrete. I mean, at least it's smart enough to dry. They're up there soaking up public funds and abusing the power that they promised that they would use for the betterment of the American society. I'm convinced that 3/4 of the Democrat Party is just up there lobbying themselves for a good book deal after they eventually get voted out of office. It's a sad thing. I mean, I don't want to say the country's broken because it's not. I mean, we're definitely not thriving, but we're to a point where serious change needs to start happening. I mean, we started changing by, avoiding the socialist downfall and complete infiltration of the White House.
Yeah.
And we need to keep voting. Like, oh, my vote doesn't matter. Your vote does count.
I've actually had to talk to people up at work because I had a guy. I was like, hey, I was just telling him, hey, there's votings for a new congressional thing for this year for our Constitution.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Which would be beneficial. He's like, well, my vote doesn't count. I was like, dude, it doesn't matter if you think that, go do it.
Yeah, go do it, because your vote can cancel out an idiot's vote somewhere. And speaking of congressional, did you see where the Texas Supreme Court overruled the lower court's ruling, and the Republican passed redistricting boundaries got approved?
I thought that was the Supreme Court, or was it the Texas Supreme Court?
I think it might have been the Supreme Court. I thought it was the state level, but regardless, a Supreme Court overruled the lower circuit judge, and said, because the lower circuit judge put basically a restraining order, keeping the redistricting boundaries from being redrawn. So the Supreme Court ruled, like, no, this was done constitutionally and it was passed by the will of the people. It's constitutional. It checks out. No, this thing is we're going to overturn this ruling. And when the Supreme Court makes their ruling, the only people that can overturn it is the Supreme Court themselves.
Yeah. U.S. Supreme Court approves redrawn.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, so that means that Texas Senator, what is it, Al Green? He's going to lose his job. Yeah, he's losing his job.
Him?
His district actually disappeared.
And that Jolene, whatever her fucking name is, the one from Dallas.
Oh yeah, the loudmouth that's up there. She gets all ratchet in the Senate hearings.
Yeah, because she thinks she's important.
Yeah. No, just step back, do it quietly, and just go get a lobbyist job somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to be important,
get
come
it.
back and run for city council or something. I don't know.
I'll get into the lobby stuff. I know a lot of people hate it, but
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll get to that in another show, but we're coming up in an hour. Well, we just hit an hour and 15. So I don't know. What I think we should just land the plane this week.
I got two videos. That one video that we ended up talking about, we didn't show because you wanted to go on your rant.
Oh, well, my fault.
It's not your fault. I let you.
These
Anyway.
students asked the instructors, and they did me once, to slow the truck down so they could take pictures of things. Overpasses,
Oh, let's go into this.
intersections. Yeah.
What did that look like? Just pulling out a cell phone and taking pictures of infrastructure? What? Okay. Your best guess here. Your student wants you to slow down to take pictures of stuff, which is, has that ever happened before? Have you ever had a student
Never
asked to
in my
slow down?
life- Never in my life or my career have I ever had anybody try to dictate anything that was happening. I am the instructor.
Right.
This is our route. This is what we're doing. And this is how you're going to comply and get through what you need to. Never have I ever been told to take a picture of a bridge or an overpass.
Was there ever pictures of I'm trying to play devil's advocate here and not go down the path of the biggest conspiracy, but were there ever pictures of scenic stuff? Were they ever taking pictures of like beautiful areas in Texas, or was it just infrastructure type things?
Just infrastructures, overpasses, things of that sort. And that's when
Was this multiple students?
it was like 15, the military Afghan students.
They were all doing this.
It was just them, that specific group. There were other students there from other walks of life that were oblivious, that had no idea. They never asked any questions. They weren't, it felt like an agenda.
Yeah,
Students,
that's why I say deport these people, honestly. And you know, they want to talk about, well, these caravans of asylum seekers. Go back and watch the video of these asylum seekers, right? They're all military age men.
Mm-hmm.
They're not seeking asylum. That's a silent invasion.
Yeah.
And the lax immigration policies, or the non-existent immigration policies of the Democrat administrations over the last 30 years have let these people in without any kind of vetting. Like, oh yeah, you want asylum from these countries that aren't really doing anything as far as like human rights violations? Sure, yeah, come on in. It doesn't pass the sniff test. It never passed the sniff test, and they're just banking on the fact that the American public, as a general, or as a, you know, as a whole, are uneducated hillbillies that could care less as long as they get their check on the 1st and 15th of every month. And now, come on, man, be better than that.
All right, this last video, we're gonna cut it after this. This is a guy that was getting stalked by a guy, and if I was the dispatch and I heard the name of the stalker, I'd be calling the cops too and get there as fast as possible.
Recording.
Hi, there's a person who's been stalking me online, and they just showed up to my house.
Okay, and they're outside now?
Yes, they're knocking on my door.
Okay. And do you know if they have any weapons?
They have a bunch of camera people, like they're YouTube stalkers.
As you watch this, it's important to remember that all the camera crews, sound guys, and attorney Mike Morris stayed on the street when I went up to knock on James Jackson, Gregory Jackson of Nissan's door to see if he would talk to me. I've been doing this for some 40 years. I didn't get into YouTube to start journalism, but I did take my brand of journalism to YouTube to expose alleged predators.
Okay. But no weapons seen?
I didn't see any weapons. I just saw like 6 guys in my driveway, and one of them is knocking on my door.
Okay, 1 second here. And the one that's knocking on your door, is he the main one that you said has been stalking you?
Yes, he's a stalker. He's yelling things at me through the door right now.
It's ironic that Onision says I've been stalking him, when in fact he's the one accused of stalking his young female victims on YouTube and on various social media platforms. He also went so far as to take my video from interviews and splice them together with video of him, making it falsely look like I asked him some questions. Absurd.
Okay, and what do we know his name at all?
It's Chris Hansen.
Okay, H-A.
Yeah.
H-R-I-S.
Oh, I fucking love that.
Asian Hispanic.
Okay, I'll stop it right there. But dude, it was dispatch, and I heard that name. I mean, everybody knows in any kind of law enforcement or cares about kids. It was like, oh, who did you talk to? Chris Hansen. Oh,
well, okay. We'll be there in just a minute. You know.
yeah.
Hey, Mr. Hansen, what do you got? Well,
Hey,
we've got this evidence here.
I gotta get off this call. Hey, can someone take this call? I want to go to this house. I've always been wanting to meet Chris Hansen. Not in a bad way, but you know,
Oh man.
yeah. But anyways, everybody, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. I'm David Dickerman,
I'm Johnny Skelton.
and love you guys, every one of you. Thank you for watching. Again, goodbye.
Don't have to go home, people. Can't stay here.